Hey guys, welcome back to Karting with Chris. Today's video is going to be the Fall 2 pre-final race here at North Texas Karters. Now, if you didn't see my Fall 1 video, basically what happened is that I was really slow on pace, and I ultimately kind of blamed it on the tires because the lap time showed that on lap 4 or 5, my lap times plateaued and then dropped off pretty dramatically. So sometimes that's an indication that you went too high on the tire pressures, but I found out on this race day when I was preparing the kart for practice that that wasn't the case and that one of my seat posts had snapped. So here is a picture of the weld, and it might look like, we welded the crap out of it, but I have welded this seat post in the past. I think the first time I welded it was at NOLA. I think after that I welded it another time, and I welded it last race. So I think it's been welded 3 times now. And if you don't know anything about karting, every single time you weld your kart, it basically ruins it or it makes it weaker. So every single time you weld it, it's not going to be the same. Now, I say I welded it, but I actually have never welded this seat post. The person who welded it for this race was Mario Ramirez. Huge shout out to him. He was actually corner working during this race, and so he took time off of corner working and he quickly welded it. He told me he wanted to make it a lot better, but obviously he was corner working, so he didn't really have the time. So I really appreciate it, and he really helped me, get back out on track, because if it wasn't for him, I would not have been able to enter this race. So going into this race, I didn't think I was going to be that fast because throughout practice I really didn't have that good of a pace, but we qualified 4th place, which really surprised me. So maybe we do have a shot at podium here. We'll see. Starting in 4th is not an ideal position. We really want to be starting on the inside because the first 2 corners of the start are left-handers, so you want to be on that inside. But we do have Chuck in front of us, and Chuck is very fast, so at the start we're going to follow him. As we look behind me, we see someone waving to us. That is Chris. Hello, Chris. But like I was saying, we've got Chuck in front of us. We're going to push him down the straight, and most of the races I've been in with Chuck, he's gotten pretty good starts, so we're going to follow him. Let him, push his way through the pack, and we're just going to follow him. So we're going down the main straight here. You can see Landon on pole is telling people to slow down. I did feel like we were going a little faster than normal, but flagman waves green, we're good to go. So like I said at the beginning, we're going to try and follow Chuck, but the people on the inside just pass us, and so we move down into 5th place and then down into 6th place. And you can just see that, having the outside just really compromises you. Now, fortunately, there's only 7 people in this race. That's not a huge turnout for our class. Usually we have more. So that means that we didn't really go down too many positions, but still not an ideal start. Going to turn 7, though, we're going to close that gap down because we can see Chris in the white helmet up ahead. He went a little wide going through turn 7. That's going to compromise him going through turns 8 and 9. And now we're on the back of Michaela in the number 007. Chuck and Michaela are going to pass Chris going into turn 1. Chris is going to get pushed out wide going through turn 1. He goes off into the grass. We move up into 5th place, and sadly that was the end of Chris's race. He did manage to get his kart back on track, but he wasn't able to catch up with us. So we have the 2 people in 1st and 2nd. They're a decent way ahead of Chuck. Chuck's in 3rd. We can see him. Michaela's in 4th, and we're in 5th. Now going through turn 7, Chuck went a little wide, and then through turns 8 and 9, he's going to dip a wheel on the exit. I bump into the back of Michaela right there. It didn't look like much, but it was enough to ruin my momentum. You can see she kind of pulled away. But yeah, Chuck's making a couple mistakes here. And he was saying that he was really struggling to warm up his tires at the beginning stages of the race. He said his tires were pretty old. They're from like March, so he's really struggling with that. And that's allowing me to be able to keep up with Michaela and Chuck. We've got a yellow flag going through the chicane. I think someone through turn 7 has gone off track, so we can't pass. But you can see that the 2 in 1st and 2nd are still not that far ahead. Chuck is still making a couple mistakes, but I think at this point in the race he has his tires warmed up, and I don't think he's going to make any more mistakes from now on. But Michaela goes for the move going to turn 1, and Chuck's not going to really fight it too much. He's going to look behind him. He's going to see me. I'm not going to go for the move because I want to settle down this race, maybe catch up to first and second. So the way pre-final racing works, if you've never been to NTK, is very different than how final racing works. So in the pre-final, wherever you finish in the pre-final, that's where you start in the final. So you want to start on the inside for the final because, as you saw in this race, we started on the outside, did not get a very good start. So we're in 5th place. If we finish here, that means we'll start the final on the inside. But we've got Chuck in front of us. If we pass him, we'll start in 4th. And we started in 4th on this race, and it didn't turn out too well. We did not get a very good start. Now, Michaela's in 3rd. 3rd is a very good place to start. So if we can get 3rd, we'll definitely go for it. But at this moment, I'm willing to accept 5th place. So I'm a spectator at this point. If Michaela and Chuck want to keep battling, I'll let them do that. I don't think we're going to catch up to the top 2 because we only have a couple more laps left in this race. So the only way I think I'll move up into 3rd place is if Chuck and Michaela take each other out, and I'll move up into 3rd place. So I still have to keep close to them in case that happens. I can't be too far away or else I won't be close enough to pounce. Now, one thing I noticed, and probably Chuck noticed this as well, is that Michaela has pretty decent top end. Going down the straights here, you can see that Chuck's really not able to close that gap on her down the straights. You can see they kind of pull away from me on the straights. If you have ever seen F1, you see that slipstream thing where everyone has DRS. It's kind of like that as I make a mistake going through turns 8 and 9 here. But yeah, I'm not able to close that gap down. But yeah, Chuck isn't able to, get enough momentum to try and pass Michaela. So it's going to be hard for Chuck. You can see they've kind of pulled away from me because I messed up through turns 8 and 9. But going through turns 2 and 3 here, I'm going to close that gap just a little bit more. I think Michaela wasn't as good through the corners as Chuck and myself, but definitely on the straights, she had a bit more advantage. Now going into turn 7, Michaela goes slightly defensive. She goes down the middle of the track. I went really wide through turn 7 because, I was just being stupid. But I was also realizing that I'm probably going to finish in 5th place, so I'm just going to see, how it plays out for Chuck and Michaela here. So we're on the last lap here. Chuck is running out of corners. He's got less than a lap, so he's really got to get the move done. And like I said, if they take each other out, that's the only scenario where I finish in 3rd place here. So going through turn 3 and then through the chicane here, Michaela's going to go defensive again. She doesn't go fully defensive. She only goes down like half the track. Chuck looks for the inside of turn 7. He thinks better of it. Going through turns 8 and 9 here, he's going to try and send it, but he wasn't enough beside her to get the move done. And he's going to finish up in 4th place, and I'm going to finish in 5th place. So overall, we started in 4th, dropped down to 6th at the beginning, moved up into 5th, and we're going to start the final race on the inside. Now, some people might say that 4th is better than 5th. I think that 5th is better than 4th. So overall, I'm not upset with how this race panned out, and I really did enjoy this race. But that's all I'm going to have for today. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, suggestions, or opinions, please comment below. Thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.